What's up? Wouldn't it be funny if the left-right paradigm was fake? Um, we all know that Alex Jones been probably telling this for like 30 years that the whole thing is it's basically fake, right? And it's like, I think about it. For a long time, we've been being told this whole left-right paradigm is fake. When has it not become fake? When did it stop becoming fake? Because we've been saying it's been fake. It's been a psyop this whole time. It's all been orchestrated by somebody. Um, but you think about it. Let's analyze the left for a second. Um, if you notice, like um, when you go to their protests, there's like okay, you gotta think about it. There's two type of protests they participate in. They participate in the protest was just them talking at their in a building or outside, or it's a protest where they would show up and instigate a situation. So, and if you analyze it carefully, you notice that it's all performance. You know, it's like if when you finally find out who these kids are, most of them are like rich kids. Most of them are like they come from like really white communities. Like Moldy Locks, come to find out, her community is like it said it's like one was like what is it 1.4% black. I was like, how you gonna be fighting for Black Lives Matter and you don't live around no black people? But then, so you had these people, they're a bunch of rich kids, punks, skaters, so-called like rebels. You know those drunk, those grunge kids, punk kids. Most of those grunge kids, punk kids, they weren't poor kids. They were like suburb kids, skaters and whatnot. I grew up with skaters, man. They were all from the suburbs. If you was poor white, you couldn't even afford a skateboard. But anyway, so if you know, you can tell it's a performance because every time they say something, there's like clapping. They start clapping. Like, like, what kind of protest are you clapping? Like, have you seen what's going on in Venezuela? Do you see any do you see any like time for clapping? Do you see any time for cheering? Do you see any time for talking? There's not a lot of talking. You know, the politician the politician can speak, but he's protected by his security. If he didn't have security there, it would be he probably been shot by now. You know, in America, we can protest. Nobody gets shot. Nothing gets interrupted. Everything is scripted. And if you look at Occupy Wall Street, if you look way back, you know, you notice that the formers would come out, the LARPers would come out, pretend to be somebody, and then they get arrested. They'll do something to get arrested. So they're playing their performance up. You know, it's not a real performance if there's no, let's say, negative outcome. There's no bad outcome. If I didn't get arrested, then it must wasn't real. So that's why they always get arrested because it's not real. So here you go, show up at a protest, say a bunch of stuff. If you've been to any of the protests, you notice that there's always somebody watching the protest. There's always some type of what looks like either they're the security or they're the basically the lookout or they're basically the man in charge. And you can always tell who that is. He always looks like he's not supposed to be there. They might be wearing a jacket. They might be wearing a button-up shirt. They look like they're not supposed to be there. Sometimes they might be an old man or a woman or whatever. They always look like they're not supposed to be there. They're almost like the it's like they might be the like a TV show. Every TV show has a writer, producer, and a director. So just like these protests, everything that they're saying has been written. Everything that they're doing has been produced, And everything that they're doing has been directed. So they know exactly what they do before they show up there. So they need directors. They need to be told what to do at all times. So they know what to do. Then after the performance, everybody claps. Or they snap their fingers or something. That's the most annoying thing we do. That's the most annoying sound when they start doing that. Anyway, so you can tell it's performance. And you say, well, what about those times where the Republicans show up and they start fighting them? Was that real? I don't know. It's like the more I look at it, the more I'm like, I don't know if this stuff is real. I mean, the truth is, you can on both sides you can tell there are characters, there are actors. You know, some might be genuine, some might be just actors to promote the cause to make to promote the cause and make it bigger. So just because you have actors doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means that it's not real. So you got Lauren Southern and Gavin McInnes and I guess the other conservatives, Ben Shapiro and stuff. And these are some characters. They are characters, but they're not stupid. They're really smart people. So you say, well, what is the role that they're playing? Well, it's pretty easy. The role that they usually play is they're usually on the defense. The role that the left plays is always the offense. They're always on an attack. And the role of the Republican is always on defense. And you know how they are. Like, they don't instigate. They don't argue. They just talk to you. They don't try to shut you down. They let you speak. And they don't attack until you attack them. And they always play the role of, I didn't do nothing wrong. They might hit you and be like, I ain't do nothing. They always play the character of the innocent one. They didn't do anything. I'm just here to defend myself. And then, they praise the police or something. So they play the role as the good guy. And then the left plays the role as the bad guy. So, but then you say, well, I don't know. They don't really, they're not really hurting anybody, right? And the thing is, they're not. Like I said, most of the time they're on the defense. So they're not really hurting anybody. They don't really get involved too much. So, and they don't like staying that long unless they have to. So the left plays the instigators, and you can tell it's an act. Oh yeah, the reason why they don't want to be on camera is because it's a performance. It's their job. It's their job. They're being paid to show up and have a little. It's all you can tell. It's all just orchestrated. Exactly what they're supposed to be doing. You can tell. It's just too fake. It's just too good to be true in what they're doing. And the problem is they are hurting people. So they're doing two things. They're hurting people, and they don't want to record it because they're doing something violent. They don't want to get arrested. They don't want to get doxxed. And the reason why they don't want to record it is because they're at their job. Your job is a private thing. You don't want people showing up at your job because now it becomes personal. A lot of times you don't want people to know that this is your job, this is where I work, or this is where I live. It becomes personal at that point. So the reason why they don't want to be videotaped, people say, well, they don't want to be videotaped because they're going to either do something violent, or they're a bunch of punks, or they're just pretending to be communists. And if they get outed, then their parents are gonna find out. They're out there throwing rocks at old people. So I mean, all of that could be true. I don't know, but I would say the reason why they don't want to be videotaped because they're at their job. Because they're at their job, they don't want to be taped. Because if this is their job, this is what they do. They don't want it to be taped because now it can be analyzed. Now you can analyze the tape, and now you can figure out who is the people at the protest. You can, because you got the reason why they found that bike lot guy, my bad, is because you have face scanning technology, face recognition technology, and just by looking at his eyes, they could figure out who he was. So even if he was wearing a mask, Just with eyes, they found out who he was, and they doxed him. He got arrested and everything. So I think that the teachers are actually hippies. These are guys who were they were hippies when they were kids. They grew up, and then they were anti-government and they were anti-corporation. They didn't get a job, and the only job they get was teachers. Now these are the guys who are really um, uh, the guys you should look out for. These Linus are sword type people. These are grown people. These are people who are really the orchestrators of this whole thing. These are people you need to look out for. These guys are, you don't want to trust any of these guys. But a lot of these the kids, I wouldn't say they're I would say some of them are misguided, some of them are just LARPing. They're just pretending. They're just being paid to instigate stuff. So truthfully, I don't really know. I don't I would say that there's a whole lot of pretending going on the left. There's some pretending going on the right too, because a lot of times on the right, they're not allowed to speak about the Jews for some reason. um, they don't want to look racist. They always want to look like the good guy. They always want to look like it wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything. It was them. They attacked me. They always look like the good guy. And on the left, they don't mind looking like the villain. They want to be the villain. Just like Trump, he doesn't mind being the villain. So, you know, we already know that the left is pretending, but the question is the right pretending too? Oh yeah, let's put this out there. You notice how the alt-right women, ever notice why they all have black hair? That's weird, right? They, I think, was it, how many of them have, I think it's Lauren Southern's the only one that has like blonde hair. Who else? Fake Goldie, she's brunette. But they're not really alt-right, they're just Republicans supposedly. But if you look at the alt-right women, they always have black hair for some reason. Anyway, let's put that out there. Um, so, yeah, like I said, wouldn't it be funny if this whole thing was fake? Wouldn't it be funny, you know, Alex Jones is right. This thing is fake, right? That's both sides is fake. But I still like to be on the right though, because they usually leave people alone. So even if they're acting, at least they leave you alone. Those left people are crazy. Um, so yeah, what do you think? I mean, do you think that left is pretending? It is all not real? That most of these kids are probably a bunch of rich kids just pretending to be communists? And the right just pretending to be good, to be the good guys? And they're basically all the same, all being paid by George Soros? Tell you the truth, I don't know. um, but they are being funded though. You gotta understand that too. I would say the left is always seems to be funded more than the right is though. They put more funding into it. But tell you the truth, I don't really know, but I've seen it seems like the left is more funded. That's why I know that part, their side is definitely the fake one. The right doesn't seem to be that funded, but that might be part of their plan to look like to be not as funded or not as professionally produced, to be on purpose, to look like grassroots on purpose. Um, but I don't know. um, so you got, so it can look like it's indie, like it look like it's underground, or it's yeah, we actually fund this ourselves. But it ain't no lie that the entertainment industry is straight up leftist though, liberal and all that. So that ain't no falsehood right there. That maybe this might be fake, but entertainment, nah. Entertainment is straight up liberal, straight up Democrat. There ain't no fakeness about that one. So I don't know. I could be wrong. Um, but I just noticed that each side is easily infiltrated It's not that hard. It's not that hard to infiltrate any of these sides. So yeah, there could be some actors in both of them. We don't really know. But I guess the best thing to do is just to go out there and find out for yourself if this stuff is real. And once you figure out if it's real, then you be like, you know what? I don't need to know none of this stuff. I just need to worry about myself and my family. So anyway, what do you think? You think it's fake? Do you think it's real? Tell you the truth, I don't know. But I'd like to hear what you think. Anyway, peace out.